The next book I want to cover is Differential Geometry by Guggenheimer. It's a book on differential geometry that I really like. And the book is quite old-fashioned. You see here the entire third chapter is on evolutes and involutes, which is a topic which is not covered anymore in modern books, except perhaps some exercise or two. You see in chapter 4, 5, and 6, there's a lot of emphasis on groups and on Lie groups and transformation groups. You see tensors, you see inner and affine geometry. So this book really takes the Klein program very seriously. A Klein program where a geometry is determined by their group, and it really takes that as a point of view that it takes very seriously. This book is obviously a very old-fashioned book. A lot of terminology is used today that is not really used anymore. For example, here we see, for example, it deals with a subtangent. A subtangent, which is not something that people learn anymore these days. So it's a very old book. I really like the book. It takes a perspective that I really like. A geometric perspective, but also an algebraic perspective. And there's not too much abstract analysis. I don't think there's much epsilon delta in here. But it still gives a very nice global overview of things. For example, I would recommend this book to Crimson, for example, if you ever want to get into differential geometry. This might actually be the book that he likes. I personally really like the book. It's not a modern book. It's not a book that mathematicians nowadays read. Physicists might actually like this, though. Yeah, I definitely recommend this book a lot. The next book is by Berger and is Geometry 1. The book is a book on geometry that takes abstract algebra very seriously. The entire first chapter is on group actions already. So before they even get into the geometry, they work on group actions. As you see in chapter 0, he already talks about metric spaces, topology, Lebesgue measures. So this is definitely not a book for the faint-hearted. Affine spaces are covered, projective spaces are covered in very great generality. With a point of view that is very, very modern. In volume 2, there would be polytopes, there would be quadratic forms, there would be conics, and hyperbolic geometry. So yeah, this book is definitely a book on geometry that's very mature and takes a point of view that is rather, abstract and perhaps also kind of modern. Definitely a book you want to work through at some point if you're really into this kind of geometry. Personally, I am not into this kind of geometry, so I'm not too interested in this book since I think it is a bit too abstract. I don't like my geometry too abstract. So yeah. Talking about abstract geometry, here we have the next book by Eisenbud and Harris, The Geometry of Schemes, which is a book on algebraic geometry. So it deals with affine schemes in general. It has an entire section on examples. Then we go to projective schemes, classical constructions, blowups, local constructions, and then finally schemes and functors, where they have the functor of points. I bought this book originally because I wanted a book on schemes for my PhD thesis, and I wanted a book that deals with a certain point of view, namely the functor of points point of view, that I needed. The book is really good if you're into algebraic geometry, but if you're not, and if you don't really like the point of view too much, then obviously you're not too interested in this book. It's really a book for specialists. It's really a book for if you're into a special field. Then we have the book on differential geometry, groups, and symmetric spaces. So this starts with elementary differential geometry, where elementary means that it already starts from manifolds. Then they go into Lie groups, and then finally they go into symmetric spaces and all kinds of theorems on symmetric spaces. The book is a very tough book. It's definitely very much not the first book you should read, and maybe not even a second book you should read, but it contains a lot of material. It really is a comprehensive reference book almost. If you want to know anything about symmetric spaces, this would be a book that you should read. Personally, I did not read the book yet, and perhaps not planning to read it at all, so I can't really comment much further. The next book is a book by Littaka, Algebraic Geometry, and in specifically Birational Geometry of Algebraic Varieties. It's yet another book that I haven't read, so I cannot really comment on what it says. But here are the topics. It starts with schemes. Then it goes towards normal varieties, projective schemes, cohomology, curves, dimension theory, logarithmic Kodaira dimension of varieties, whatever that means. So yeah, it doesn't strike me as the most readable book on the topic. It doesn't strike me as a very gentle book at all. It strikes me as something that contains a lot of information, but already you need to know a lot of things already to be able. The problem I have with algebraic geometry books is that they don't contain any motivation. So you see that they define things like normal schemes in some kind of very abstract way, and if you have no idea what they're trying to do or what they're trying to say, then the book doesn't tell you. The book doesn't tell you where things come from or why we care or anything. And there's a profound lack of books which do tell you. So if you want to learn algebraic geometry, you struggle very much, which I did. And if you don't want to struggle, you need to really work your way up with very, very, very low-level books. I'm thinking of Cox, I'm thinking of Garrity, and you need to see many, many examples. And after perhaps, you got all these examples down and you got down what they want to do, then you can go through these kind of books. If you can handle abstraction very well, and if you don't really care that a normal ring or a normal variety is something with a really weird definition, then obviously go for these books. Personally, I could not handle it. I was definitely not made for this kind of geometry. Now come a few of my favorite books. You see here Kendig, Elementary Algebraic Geometry. Kendig is my favorite algebraic geometry writer. He's really, really, really good. He's really, really good. He really focuses on the intuition. So here we see that the book covers curves, it covers commutative ring theory, and it covers varieties and mathematics on curves. This should not be the first book you read, definitely, but it contains a wealth of examples. It contains a lot of intuition. It contains, it is really a book that teaches you how to think of things and not only how to do the math. Maybe it doesn't really teach you how to do the math at all. It just teaches you how everything evolved and why we do things the way we do things nowadays. Highly recommend it if you're into algebraic geometry or if you want to get into algebraic geometry. I highly recommend this book. It's amazing. It's amazing. Kendig is an amazing writer. I would recommend all of his books. They're not the most rigorous books. They're not meant to be rigorous books. So if you want to learn the exact theory behind it, this is not a good book for you, but I still highly recommend it. Then we come to another favorite of mine, The Elements of Computing Systems, Building a Modern Computer from First Principle by Nizan and Schocken. Yeah, this is yet another book that I really like, and it actually is the Nant to Tetris book, where it really teaches you from scratch how that things work. So it starts with Boolean logic, it goes to sequential logic, machine language, computer architecture, assembler, then goes to higher level languages, it goes to compiler, and goes to operating systems in the end. The book is excellent. If you want to know how a computer works from the basics on, like from the very basic circuits onwards, this is the book you should read first. Later on, you can always get into more details, you can always go to more complicated books, but this is really a book you want to read first, and I would recommend everybody who does programming to read this book, because I think it's very important as a programmer you know how a computer works deep down. I love this book. I love this course. It's so good. Really, really recommend it. It's amazing. Then we have here Mechanical Universe, Mechanics and Heat by Frautschi, Olenek, Apostel, and Kutstein. Yes, it's the Apostel from the calculus book. And it's first book on physics. So it really starts with the law of falling bodies by Galileo and the different thoughts. It goes to introduce basic calculus. It starts with inertia, vectors. It goes on to deal with forces in different reference frames. It goes on to energy, momentum, oscillations, angular momentum, gyroscopes even, Kepler's laws and conic section. It has a section on navigating space, temperature and the gas laws, the engine of nature. It goes on to entropy and even a quest on low temperature. This book has videos. There are many videos related to this. There was a program on the BBC which wanted to talk about physics, the way physics should be done. It talks about things historically, from a historical point of view. I feel that it's a very beautiful resource. I really like it a lot. I learned a lot from it. It has quite difficult but still nice exercises. Still, I feel, sadly, that there are better books out there. Even if you take the historical approach seriously, which I really like, there are better books out there. Still, it's nice to read as a side resource to see what the book has to say about it and how to think of things. And especially the videos can be very useful additions to the book. So yeah, I do recommend it, but perhaps not as only or even any source. Then we come to a book on geometric algebra. Here we have the book on geometric algebra for computer science. It's written by Dorst, Fontaine, and Mann. The book teaches geometric algebra from the ground on for people who are interested in programming it. Programming it, why? For the purpose of visualization and for the purpose of rotation, for the purpose of computing with it. It's, I think, the only geometric algebra book that I really like. There's a lot of geometric algebra books and they're all very obscure books, but I think this book takes a really nice pedagogical point of view, and I think I would definitely recommend this one if you are into geometric algebra. I think the book is, I like it. I like it a lot. I didn't work through it completely, as it's quite a thick book, as you see. And if you're not into computer science, and maybe if you want a more physical perspective, then maybe there are better books out there for you. But I definitely do recommend this one because it's very profound and very comprehensive and still provides with a lot of intuition.